Brr. Simple man of God, Daniel. But now I want to look at something a little different. Past week has been rough on the news. The great thing about video is I can edit out stuff that's also wrong. Let's talk about it. Welcome back to A Simple Man of God, Daniel, and doing something that I like to call Gimme 5. It's a video based on apologetics, giving a reasoned defense for the faith that we have, and I try to do it in 5 minutes or less. Today, this Gimme 5, we are talking about the law, because we have some Christians who like to say, we're not under the law anymore. Why do we need to follow this? And then we have people like atheists and the irreligious who will say, it's just stupid. So those are the two ways we're going to look at the law. We'll start with the first part, the Christians who say, we're not under the law, we don't have to follow anything. This is true when we're talking about the Levitical laws. We don't have to worry about purification rites, making sure we're clean. Jesus did that for us through the cross. We still fall under the moral law, at least if it's mentioned in the New Testament. And for the most part, the biggest part of the law was, what is that? The Ten Commandments. And why do some people object to this? Well, in Exodus chapter 20, Moses is given the law by God, and he starts in verse 2 by saying, I am the Lord your God who brought you out of Egypt and rescued you from slavery. So all of God's law is predicated on he is God. Without God, morality doesn't make much sense. We can debate that, but that's what he says. And if you really look at the Ten Commandments in particular, we can break them down into two parts. The first 3.5, we can say are what Jesus told us is the first greatest commandment found in Deuteronomy 6:5, that you are to love the Lord your God with all your heart, soul, mind, and strength. And then the second 6.5 are what Jesus said is like the greatest, found in Leviticus 19:18. Love your neighbor as yourself. What does this mean? Well, we can say that those first 3.5 are mostly about God, and the second 6.5 are all about how we interact with people. Therefore, love God, love people. And if God is the creator of everything, that means there can be no other gods. That shoots down other religions right away. And this is where some people will disagree because they're atheists and say there is no God. But what's the first commandment? You'll have no other gods before me. There you go. End of story. Christians believe there's one God. Trinitarian, debate for another time. But it leads right into the second one. You'll have no idols. You will not create something to be worshipped. You will not worship created things. And before you try to say that doesn't happen anymore, ask people like Neil deGrasse Tyson who say, well, the stars created all of the elements throughout the universe. Whenever they would explode, they would spread these elements throughout. And therefore, we are made of star stuff. So we should be thanking the stars we're alive. That's idolatry. But then there's also the third commandment that says, you will not take the Lord's name in vain. This can mean saying GD or OMG and stuff like that. This is true. But more importantly, it is saying, I am a follower of God, and then turning around and doing things that he says is not good. That's using the Lord's name in vain. Now, the fourth commandment is split between the two because it starts with, because the Lord created everything in 6 days and then rested on the seventh, which is why the atheists and the irreligious disagree with this. He rested on the seventh day, therefore you should rest. Everybody should agree with it though, because it says at least once a week, take a break. We get that. Now, the rest of these, people really shouldn't disagree with too much, because what do you have? Number 5, honor your parents. Number 6, don't murder. Number 7, don't commit adultery. Number 8, don't steal things. Number 9, don't give false testimony, don't lie. And of course, number 10, don't covet your neighbor's stuff. Basically, it's stuff we all agree with. You should show respect to people. You shouldn't take the life of another person. You shouldn't take your friend's wife or husband. You shouldn't take what isn't yours. You shouldn't lie about other people. And you really shouldn't want what other people have. It can be cleaned up pretty simply. But that's what we're still under. All of that basically was repeated in the New Testament. We'll talk about the Sabbath another time. But that's the law we're still under. We can disagree. Maybe we can have debate. Leave your comments down below. Let's talk about it. That's all I have for you today, though. So, hey, I hope I did this in 5 minutes. If I did, all right, give me 5. That was lame. Okay, love you. Bye.